Have you ever wondered what someone is really thinking? The truth is, people may lie with their words, but their bodies always tell the truth. Welcome to our in-depth exploration of Joe Navarro's groundbreaking work on nonverbal communication, written by a former FBI counterintelligence officer with over 25 years of experience reading body language in the field. You can purchase this eye-opening book through the link in the video description. Now, let's dive into the fascinating world of nonverbal communication and discover how you can become fluent in the universal language of the body. The fundamentals of body language. Body language is the most honest form of human communication. Long before humans developed speech, we communicated through gestures, expressions, and postures, and this ancient limbic system still dominates our communication today. While our conscious mind controls what we say, our subconscious mind controls our body language, making it far more reliable than words. Navarro introduces us to the concept of comfortable versus uncomfortable nonverbals. When people feel comfortable, their body language displays openness, relaxation, and genuine expressions. When uncomfortable, they exhibit blocking, distancing, and pacifying behaviors. This fundamental distinction forms the backbone of accurate nonverbal reading. The limbic brain, our primitive, survival brain, responds instantly to threats and opportunities. These limbic responses are honest and revealing because they occur automatically, without conscious thought. By learning to recognize these responses, we gain insight into people's true feelings and intentions. One critical insight. There's no single body language tell that universally indicates deception. Instead, we must look for clusters of nonverbal cues and sudden changes in behavior that reveal discomfort. Context is everything. A behavior that means one thing in one situation may mean something completely different in another. Reading the body from head to toe. The human body can be divided into regions, each providing unique insights into a person's thoughts and feelings. Let's explore each area and its revelations. The power of the feet and legs. Surprisingly, our most honest body parts are those furthest from our face, our feet and legs. We consciously control our facial expressions but rarely monitor our lower extremities. This makes leg and foot movements extraordinarily revealing. Our feet instinctively point toward people we like and away from those we dislike. When engaged in conversation, observe if someone's feet remain pointed toward you or if they begin to turn away. This may signal their desire to end the interaction. Happy feet, those that wiggle or bounce with energy, indicate comfort and positive feelings. Conversely, frozen feet reveal stress and discomfort. The legs also communicate volumes. Crossed legs can indicate comfort when relaxed or discomfort when tightly wound. Splayed legs often signal dominance, while pressed-together legs suggest insecurity. A sudden shift in leg positioning frequently indicates a change in thoughts or emotions. Foot tapping and leg bouncing often reveal anxiety, impatience, or excess energy. However, context matters. The same movement might indicate excitement in one situation and stress in another. The key is noticing changes from a person's baseline behavior. When people stand, their stance reveals their confidence level and intentions. A wide, solid stance projects authority, while a narrow, unstable one suggests vulnerability. People instinctively position themselves to maximize comfort and safety, so their orientation can reveal their true focus of attention or concern. The torso, center of vulnerability. The torso houses our vital organs, making it especially vulnerable. How we position our torso speaks volumes about our comfort level and trust. Leaning towards someone indicates interest and engagement, while leaning away signals discomfort or disagreement. Navarro emphasizes the significance of torso shields, objects like bags, books, or even folded arms that people place in front of their torso for psychological protection. When someone suddenly crosses their arms during a conversation, They may be disagreeing with or feeling threatened by what's being discussed. Ventral fronting, turning your torso fully towards someone, demonstrates complete attention and engagement. Turning away, even slightly, can signal disinterest or a desire to exit the conversation. This positioning is largely subconscious, making it a reliable indicator of true feelings. The shoulders also communicate clearly. Raised shoulders signal stress and discomfort. They literally rise to the ears when we feel threatened. Shoulder shrugs can indicate uncertainty, indifference, or surrender, depending on how they're executed. A full shoulder shrug typically suggests genuine lack of knowledge, while a partial shrug might indicate deception. The arms, protection and emotion. Our arms evolved as tools for protection and expression. When comfortable, arms hang loosely or move freely. When uncomfortable, they become defensive barriers or engage in pacifying behaviors. Crossing arms across the chest often indicates a protective posture, though context matters. In cold environments, crossed arms may simply mean the person is chilly. However, when the temperature is comfortable, this gesture frequently signals disagreement, discomfort, or self-protection. Navarro identifies numerous arm behaviors that reveal inner states. Arms akimbo, hands on hips, typically projects dominance and confidence. Hidden arms or hands may indicate deception or concealment of information. Restricted arm movements often reveal tension and discomfort. Excessive gesturing can signal anxiety or emotional intensity. Particularly revealing are pacifying behaviors, self-touching movements that help calm our nervous system during stress. These include rubbing arms, massaging hands, or adjusting clothing. The more significant the stress, the more vigorous these pacifying movements become. Hands and fingers are expressive tools. Human hands contain a remarkable number of nerve endings, making them extraordinarily expressive. Hand gestures enhance verbal communication and often reveal thoughts that words conceal. Truth is often accompanied by open palms, a universal signal of honesty and openness. Conversely, concealed hands in pockets, behind the back, or under the table may indicate discomfort or deception. Hands steepling, fingertips touching in a prayer-like position, demonstrates confidence and certainty about what's being discussed. Finger behaviors serve as accurate emotional barometers. Finger tapping often indicates impatience or anxiety. White knuckles reveal extreme stress. Interlaced fingers with whitened knuckles suggest maximum distress and attempt at self-control. Pay special attention to thumb displays. Exposed, confident thumbs signal assurance and dominance. Think thumbs in belt loops or protruding from pockets. Hidden thumbs often indicate insecurity or submission. Even in handshakes, thumb pressure communicates dominance relationships. Navarro notes that hand gestures intensify during emotional states. When people are passionate about a topic, their hands move more energetically. When uncomfortable, they may hide their hands or restrict their movements. This contrast helps us distinguish genuine enthusiasm from forced interest. The face, a complex canvas. The human face is our most observed but most deceptive body region. We're trained from childhood to control our facial expressions, to smile when appropriate, and hide negative emotions. This makes facial reading both important and challenging. Genuine smiles, known as Duchenne smiles, involve both mouth and eyes, specifically the orbicularis oculi muscles that create crow's feet. Fake smiles typically affect only the mouth, appearing unnatural and asymmetrical. The timing of smiles also reveals authenticity. Genuine smiles fade gradually, while artificial ones often disappear abruptly. Eye behaviors provide critical information. Pupil dilation indicates interest and positive emotional engagement, while constriction suggests negative reactions. However, lighting conditions affect pupil size, so context matters. Extended eye contact can signal confidence and honesty, while excessive blinking often reveals stress. Eyebrow movements communicate multiple states. Raised eyebrows show surprise or emphasize important points, while furrowed brows indicate concentration or concern. A single raised eyebrow typically expresses skepticism or questioning. The lips and mouth are especially revealing. Lip compression often signals stress or disagreement, while pursed lips indicate disapproval or negative evaluation. When people dislike what they hear, they frequently display a lip purse, a momentary tightening and protrusion of the lips that may last just a fraction of a second. Micro-expressions, fleeting facial expressions lasting 1/25 of a second, provide glimpses into true emotions before conscious control takes over. Learning to catch these brief emotional flashes requires practice, but yields invaluable insights. Putting it all together, practical applications. Navarro emphasizes that nonverbal reading isn't about individual gestures, but patterns and changes. Here's how to apply these principles effectively. Establishing baselines. Before interpreting someone's body language, establish their behavioral baseline, how they typically act when relaxed. People have unique mannerisms and comfort behaviors. Only by knowing someone's normal patterns can you identify meaningful deviations. To establish baselines, observe people discussing neutral topics before addressing sensitive issues. Note their typical posture, gestures, vocal tone, and facial expressions. Then watch for changes when the conversation turns to matters of consequence. Looking for clusters. Never make judgments based on isolated gestures. Instead, look for clusters, multiple nonverbal signals that together tell a coherent story. For example, someone who disagrees with you might simultaneously lean away, cross their arms, purse their lips, and turn their feet toward the exit. These clustered behaviors reinforce each other and increase your confidence in the interpretation. If you observe contradictory signals, like positive words with negative body language, the nonverbal message usually reflects the person's true feelings. Considering context. Context transforms the meaning of body language. A foot bouncing in a waiting room might indicate impatience, while the same movement during a job interview suggests anxiety. Arms crossed in a cold room likely indicates physical comfort, not psychological defensiveness. Cultural context particularly matters. While many limbic responses are universal, their specific expressions vary across cultures. In some societies, direct eye contact shows respect. In others, it's considered challenging or rude. Navarro advises learning the nonverbal customs of cultures you frequently encounter. Recognizing pacifying behaviors. Stress triggers self-soothing behaviors called pacifiers, touches and movements that calm our nervous system. Common examples include neck touching or covering, highly sensitive and revealing. Face touching, especially around the mouth. Playing with jewelry or adjusting clothes. Stroking arms or rubbing hands together. Hair touching or adjusting. These behaviors increase in frequency and intensity with discomfort levels. By recognizing someone's typical pacifiers, you can detect when they feel stressed even if they're verbally denying it. Reading confidence and dominance. Body language reveals power dynamics and confidence levels. High confidence individuals typically take up more space, expanded posture, widespread arms or legs. Use more deliberate movements. Maintain steady eye contact. Display their hands and use authoritative gestures. Stand or sit with an erect, stable posture. Those feeling submissive or insecure tend to minimize their presence, hunch shoulders, contracted posture. Make themselves smaller through limb positioning. Touch their face and neck frequently. Exhibit jittery or repetitive movements. Avoid sustained eye contact. These signals help identify who feels in control in any interaction, often revealing more than formal titles or roles. Special context for nonverbal reading. Different situations require specific observational strategies. Here's how to apply nonverbal reading in common contexts. Business negotiations. In business settings, nonverbal cues often reveal true positions before they're verbally expressed. Watch for territorial behaviors, spreading papers, positioning objects. Synchrony between team members. Do they move and react similarly? Sudden increases in pacifying behaviors when specific topics arise. Changes in vocal tone and tempo when discussing key issues. Feet pointing toward exits when discussions stall. Navarro suggests arranging seating to maximize observation. Position yourself where you can see full bodies, not just faces across a table. The most valuable insights often come from lower body movements that negotiators rarely monitor themselves. Interviews and interrogations. When assessing truthfulness, focus on changes from baseline behavior rather than mythical deception cues. Deception creates cognitive load and emotional stress, which manifest physically through delayed responses to questions, increased pacifying behaviors, voice changes, pitch, pace, volume, decreased illustrative gestures while speaking, asynchronous facial and verbal expressions. The timing of responses particularly matters. Honest answers typically flow naturally, while deceptive ones often follow pauses as the person constructs their response. Watch also for narrative inconsistencies. When verbal content changes but the person claims consistency, their body language often reveals the contradiction. Personal relationships. In intimate relationships, nonverbal synchrony indicates emotional connection. Partners in tune with each other naturally mirror postures, gestures, and expressions. When this synchrony breaks, it often signals relationship discord. Pay attention to these revealing behaviors. Changes in typical touching patterns. Decreased ventral fronting, torso orientation. Blocking behaviors, using objects as barriers. Decreased pupil dilation during interaction. Feet pointed away during conversations. Early detection of these nonverbal shifts can identify relationship issues before they escalate, allowing for timely discussion and resolution. Developing your nonverbal intelligence. Navarro provides a systematic approach to developing your body language reading skills. Observation without interpretation. Begin by simply observing without jumping to conclusions. Practice describing physical behaviors objectively. She crossed her arms, leaned back, and looked at the ceiling. Avoid interpretive statements like, "She was defensive and dismissive." This separation of observation from interpretation prevents premature judgment. Start with television on mute. Observe news programs, interviews, or reality shows without audio. Describe the nonverbal behaviors you see, then restore sound to check your impressions against the content. This exercise builds your observational acuity. Contextual analysis. Next, add context to your observations. Consider the environment, relationship dynamics, cultural factors, and baseline behaviors before interpreting what you see. Ask yourself, is this behavior typical for this person? What just happened that might trigger this response? How does the environment affect this behavior? Could there be physical, rather than psychological reasons for this display? This contextual thinking prevents misreading nonverbal cues and increases interpretive accuracy. Practice in low-stakes situations. Develop your skills in situations where mistakes have no consequences. Airports, shopping malls, and cafes provide perfect practice grounds. Observe strangers interacting and make predications about their relationships and emotional states based on nonverbal cues. When appropriate, verify your impressions through casual conversation. This real-world practice builds confidence and refinement in your reading abilities. The three-step process. Navarro recommends this systematic approach. 1. Observe behaviors objectively, without interpretation. 2. Analyze these behaviors in context, looking for clusters and changes from baseline. 3. Form tentative conclusions about meaning, remaining open to new information. This discipline process prevents the common mistake of forming conclusions too quickly and then seeking evidence to confirm them. Ethical considerations in body language reading. With great insight comes great responsibility. Navarro emphasizes using nonverbal reading ethically. Respect privacy. Body language reading should never become intrusive. While public behavior is observable, using these skills to deliberately embarrass others or expose their vulnerabilities violates their dignity. The goal is understanding, not exploitation. Maintain humility. Even experts misinterpret nonverbal signals sometimes. Maintain appropriate doubt about your interpretations, especially when making important decisions based on them. Body language provides insights, not certainty. Use knowledge constructively. The purpose of nonverbal intelligence is improving understanding and communication, not manipulation. Apply these skills to become more empathetic to others' emotional states. Identify when someone needs support but isn't expressing it verbally. Improve your own nonverbal clarity and authenticity. Create more comfortable environments for honest communication. When used ethically, nonverbal reading enhances relationships rather than exploiting them. Improving your own nonverbal communication. Understanding body language isn't just about reading others. It's also about becoming more aware of your own nonverbal messaging. Navarro offers these principles. Authentic alignment. Ensure your nonverbal signals match your words. Misalignment creates confusion and distrust. If you feel unable to align your body language with your words in a situation, this internal conflict might indicate you should reconsider your position or approach. Confidence projection. When appropriate, intentionally adopt high-confidence nonverbals. Stand or sit with an expansive but natural posture. Use purposeful, smooth gestures. Maintain comfortable eye contact. Position your torso openly toward others. Keep hands visible and gesture naturally. These behaviors not only project confidence, but also tend to generate genuine confident feelings through embodied cognition, the physical influencing the psychological. Situational awareness. Adapt your nonverbal communication to the context. Behavior appropriate in one setting may be inappropriate in another. Cultural sensitivity particularly matters, as gestures and postures carry different meanings across cultures. Pay attention to others' responses to your nonverbal signals and adjust accordingly. This responsiveness demonstrates emotional intelligence and strengthens communication. Beyond the basics, advanced nonverbal reading. Once you've mastered fundamentals, these advanced concepts enhance your nonverbal intelligence. Proxemic, the language of space. How people position themselves relative to others reveals relationships and intentions. Edward Hall identified 4 spatial zones. Intimate space, 0-18 inches, reserved for closest relationships. Personal space, 18 inches to 4 feet, for friends and familiar colleagues. Social space, 12 feet, for professional and casual social interactions. Public space beyond 12 feet, for public speaking and formal situations. Violations of expected spatial norms create discomfort. Watch how people adjust their position when others enter their space. These adjustments reveal comfort boundaries and relationship dynamics. Chronemics, the language of time. Time-related behaviors communicate value and power. Punctuality typically signals respect, while lateness without acknowledgement may indicate dominance display or devaluation of the relationship. How people allocate time during interactions also reveals priorities and interest levels. In conversations, watch for temporal indicators of engagement. Extended eye contact during the other person's speaking turn. Patience with pauses versus interruption. Time allocated to topics the other person introduces. Physical indicators of time awareness, glancing at watches or clocks. These temporal patterns often communicate more about priorities than explicit statements. Paralanguage beyond words. Vocal qualities beyond actual words' tone, pitch, pace, volume, and speech patterns provide emotional context. These paralinguistic features often reveal emotions the speaker may be trying to conceal. Pay attention to voice pitch changes. Higher pitch often indicates stress. Speaking tempo, acceleration may signal anxiety. Volume modulation, inappropriate to context. Vocal tremors during emotionally charged topics. Throat clearing and similar behaviors that indicate stress. The voice often leaks emotional information that more consciously controlled body parts successfully conceal. Real-world applications. Navarro's principles apply across many domains. Professional settings. In workplace environments, nonverbal awareness improves. Leadership presence and impact. Team dynamics and collaboration. Client and customer rapport. Negotiation outcomes. Conflict resolution. Interview accuracy, both as interviewer and candidate. Leaders with strong nonverbal intelligence create psychological safety, recognize team issues early, and communicate with authentic alignment, generating greater trust and commitment. Personal growth. Self-awareness of your nonverbal patterns enables personal development. Identifying your own stress triggers through pacifying behaviors. Recognizing comfort and discomfort patterns in relationships. Developing greater congruence between feelings and expressions. Building confidence through intentional nonverbal practices. Recognizing how your nonverbal habits affect others. This self-knowledge creates choice. You can maintain helpful patterns and modify limiting ones. Safety and security. Survival-oriented awareness of nonverbals enhances personal safety. Recognizing potentially dangerous individuals through clustered threat displays. Identifying comfort and discomfort in ambiguous situations. Reading territorial and dominance behaviors before they escalate. Detecting deception in high-stakes situations. Projecting confidence to deter potential aggressors. These skills provide early warning systems for potential threats and contribute to better decision-making in uncertain circumstances. The journey to nonverbal fluency. Becoming fluent in body language requires ongoing practice. Navarro compares it to learning a new verbal language, initially requiring conscious effort but eventually becoming intuitive. Start with observation in low-risk settings, practice regularly, seek feedback on your interpretations, and gradually apply these skills in increasingly significant contexts. Keep a journal of observations and interpretations to track your progress and refine your understanding. Remember that nonverbal reading isn't about tricks or gimmicks, but developing genuine understanding of human communication in its fullest form. The goal isn't manipulation, but connection, seeing others more completely and communicating more authentically yourself. Conclusion. Mastering the principles in Joe Navarro's work transforms how you experience human interaction. You'll perceive the rich, nonverbal dimensions of communication that previously went unnoticed. This awareness creates deeper understanding, stronger relationships, and more effective interactions in every area of life. The human body is constantly speaking, telling stories of comfort and discomfort, truth and deception, confidence and insecurity. By learning this universal language, you gain insights into others' true thoughts and feelings, often before they express them verbally or even recognize them consciously. If you've enjoyed this exploration of nonverbal communication, please support our channel by liking this video, subscribing for more in-depth book summaries, and sharing your thoughts in the comments below. What aspect of body language do you find most fascinating? Have you noticed how nonverbal cues affect your daily interactions? Join the conversation and continue your journey into the fascinating world of nonverbal intelligence. Remember, the link to purchase Joe Navarro's complete work is in the description below. Until next time, pay attention to what every body is saying, including your own.